In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how you can create a web app in the Azure portal. So the web app that I will create is going to be the web app that will help me to host a .NET application. So we're going to use an app service to do that. Azure App Service are actually a collection of 4 services, all of which are built to help you to host and run your web application. Those 4 services are the web apps, mobile apps, API apps, and logic apps. They look differently, but in the end, they operate in a similar way. So the most commonly used out of the 4 is the web app, and that's what we're going to use in this demonstration. So the first thing I will do is that I'm going to create the web app, then we're going to test the web app. To test the web app, I'm going to launch my Visual Studio and I will create a sample .NET ASP.NET web application, and I will deploy that web application into the Azure web app. So this is my Azure portal. So to deploy web app, I will look for app service, and this is the app service. So from this app service now, I'll click this drop down and I will click web app. Then I will supply necessary information for the web app, like the subscription, which is already pay as you go. The resource group, I will click create new and I will use RG1 as the resource group. Then the web server name or the app server name, I'll call it my 1759 app. My 1759 app, let's see, you can see it shows that the name is available because this name has to be unique on this domain. The default domain for app service is azurewebsite.net. You also notice that although I put a name here, so you didn't use the exact name to form the FQDN of this web app. There's a way to convert this information into some other information, and also it also had the region. This default region here is also part of what you use to get the FQDN of this app service. So under the publish, I need to decide if it's code or container. So I'm going to use code. And under the code, I'm going to use .NET 8. So this is a .NET. It simply shows now that this is going to be a .NET application. Then the operating system, I can choose between Linux and Windows. Because it is .NET, you can see it pick Windows by default. And for the region, you can pick any available region. Then I'll come to the pricing plan. The pricing plan, I can give this a name. For example, this is the pricing plan. So the app service plan pricing tier determines the location, features, cost, and compute resources that are associated with your app. So the app, that is the app service, require underlying infrastructure like virtual machine or compute resources. So for the pricing plan, there's a default one they pick here, and also there's a default pricing. But if you want to rename it or you want to create your own plan, you can come here and click on this. So I will leave it this way. For the pricing plan, if you select the drop down, you see multiple pricing plan. Now, on the redundancy, you leave it the way it is. Now, if you want to connect a database to this web app, which I'm not going to do that right now, I'll just check this box to create a database that will be attached to this web application. But the major place where we are going now is the deployment. On the deployment, there is something like a continuous deployment. So what this is saying is that you can set up a continuous deployment, but we're not going to do that now. So I'll make sure that that is disabled. And on the authentication settings, it said I should choose if I would like to allow basic authentication to deploy code to the app. By default, it is disabled. Now, if I leave it this way, I will not be able to deploy any code to this app service. So I will click enable. Then if you come to the networking, this is where you determine the public access and other thing about the web applications networking. So from here now, I can click on review plus create. So it's trying to confirm if the informations I supply are in order. And if they are in order, then I will see the blue button to create. Then can now move forward to create the app service. So still waiting for that. And if you see it's still validating, it's actually ready. And if you look at the summary of this app service, it's telling me now that the price is 80.30 US dollar per month. And all the information I supply are also here. So I'll click create. So right now it's validating the information. It will initialize the template and it will create the app service using the information that I supply to configure the app service. So this will take approximately 2 minutes and the app service will be ready. Now the app service is ready. So I'll go to the resources. So I'll click go to the resource. It will take me to the resource of the app service. Now at the overview, I can see information about the app service. What I'm actually concerned about now is this default domain. So this is the default URL of the app service. So if I click on this link, it's going to show me the sample page of that app service. You can see it says your web app is running and waiting for your content. So let's now go ahead now and push content into this app service. To do that, I will look for Visual Studio on my system. So right now I'm going to launch Visual Studio 2022, and using this Visual Studio 2022, I'm going to create a web application, ASP.NET web application. To do that, I will click create a new project, and I'll make sure it is a web application of ASP.NET. Now click next. I'll call it my 1759 app. My 1759 app, and the framework is 4.7.2. So I'll click create, and the app service is actually MVC. So it's already showing the MVC. For the advanced, I want to make it just HTTP and no authentication. It's just a sample application. So I'll click create, and it's creating the project. So what I will do now is I need to rebuild this project. I need to build it, then I will test run it to be sure that the application is working. So this application is also going to give me just a sample ASP.NET. So I'm not going to edit anything, just a sample ASP.NET web application. So the build is completed. Then I can now click on this to launch the web application. So you can see it's saying localhost 49195. So that's the default port, the local port that he has generated. This is the application ASP.NET. So I'm not going to touch this. Now this application now, if you notice now, is different from this one. This is what is showing in the app service right now, but this is the one I want to push. This is the one that I'm going to push to the app service. So I will go back now to the app service. Now from here, let me refresh the app service again. There's something that's supposed to see that I didn't see, or it's supposed to show me something, but I can't find that stuff. Because what I'm supposed to do, or what I need right now, is that I need an avenue that allow me to download a publish profile. So this is what I need. So I'll come to this download publish profile, and you can see I have the publish settings now of this app service. So this publish settings now will allow me to use my Visual Studio Code to connect to the app service. So I'll come back to the Visual Studio, and from the Visual Studio I will right click and I'll go to publish. Publish now means that I want to push my application now to another place. So I will use import profile from here, and I'll click next. Then ask me now which profile, so I will browse. I think it should be in the downloads. Let me check. 1/9/2020. Okay, is the recent one. Then I'll click finish. So see, it's telling me now that it's ready to publish. So using that profile, this Visual Studio has actually connected to that application. That is, you can see this is the app service. So it has connected to it. Then I will click publish. So it will start now by deploying the application into the app service. So just finish publishing the app into the app service. And if I check now, let's go back and check. Here is it. Here is it. You can see this is a new app service. Let's refresh this one too. It's the same URL. You can see this is the new information in the app service. So what I've done right now is that I publish my .NET application into the app service. So what I've done is that we've created an app service and we tested the app service by creating a .NET application using Visual Studio, and I published that code into the app service, and the results is what you are seeing. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please let me know what you think in the comment section, and do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.